Hello everybody, welcome to this next Wild Spirit revamp and catch-up video. I have been quite aware, as I'm sure you are too, that the last few videos have been focusing on subjects that are quite uncomfortable, sad, quite deep, and I thought in the interest of balance that we should move on in the next couple of videos to something that was a bit more uplifting. Not that there's anything wrong with the other mood, the more melancholy, reflective, and indeed sad mood that the other videos have been about, but let's just lighten things up for a bit and focus on some things that are a bit more, as we could say, positive. Not that there's anything wrong with the negative, we need both, as we know. So you see before you my latest revamp. I hope I'm getting it all in. As I've explained many times before, the camera chops off things and what I see through the viewfinder is not what you see on the video. So I'm trying to get as much in as I possibly can without having the camera wedged under my chin. So this is the Wild Spirit card that was, and still is, although different, Transformation, which is Judgement. We've already looked at the Judgement card from the Everyday Enchantment deck. I have a video on that we did quite early on, and I thought then I would move on and revamp its Wild Spirit companion, as it were, and you will see that there are quite a few differences. Most of the cards that I'm going to be revamping now are going to require quite a lot of changes, because there are very few that I'm happy with in their entirety, and although the theme is always going to stay the same and key elements of them will always stay the same, there's been a lot of differences that are going to have, especially with this one, that are going to have to be in evidence. I don't know whether that made any sense at all, but never mind, I will not stop the video in order to get my words perfect. So here we have quite a different take on this one here. The first obvious thing you can see is that the boots are different. Now, there wasn't any real reason why the boots are very much different. They're not that much different. They're old boots, and there's a reason why they are old boots. But in the original version, they're quite high up, and in this one they come much lower down, because I wanted the main focus of the picture to be the actual figure. And obviously we've lost the border. We're going to lose the border on all of them, so we have got quite a big area that can be lost when they get cropped, which they always do when they're being reproduced, whether I'm going to be doing this or somebody else, another publisher is going to be doing it. We're going to lose an edge, so I've factored that in to the design. But before I go on, I have not factored in where I am going to put the title. I hope there's a way around this, because I've already done, what, 5 of these and spent ages. As you can see, the amount of work that's going into just this one here, I've already spent ages, and I haven't thought about where the title of the card is going to go. Oh, good grief. Have you any ideas? Because at this point I haven't. I mean, is it going to actually just be, am I going to lose part of the design? I haven't factored that in. Yes, I've left my bleed border, but I haven't factored in where the title's going to go. Yeah, so any thoughts on that? Because they're all really welcome. I could do where I have, the design filling the whole thing and then just a little bit at the bottom, but that's going to mean that a lot more of the design will be cropped, because in order for it to fit within that without stretching it, I'll explain in another video anyway. I've perplexed myself by not factoring in where the title of the card is going to go, which is actually crucial, isn't it? I was so keen on getting these revamps started and so lifted up on your enthusiasm for me doing it that I completely forgot about the title. There should be a whole nother video on that soon, I would imagine, especially if you can give me some feedback on it. So the differences, there are a lot more. Let's just have a look at the original for a minute. The flowers are quite sparse. They're nice, I love the colours and everything, but they're quite sparse. The figure is partially obscured and not very clear behind the pair of boots. The boots are much higher up in the drawing, and it's all sort of cramped into the middle. There's lots of empty space that's not really doing anything. I really think it's very attractive, and the actual concept of it is great, but in terms of design, not good. Could have been improved upon. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that if you're using the original deck, but this, obviously, the new Wild Spirit has to be improved upon, and it has to be done in my new way of doing things. Now, I thought it was really important to have this figure telling a story and to be part of the Wild Spirit ethos, which is a very fairy tale, mythic, whimsical, magical set of stories in the cards, and I wanted this figure to reflect that, not to look like somebody directly out of my Everyday Enchantment deck, because those people are much more realistic as in terms of what we would see every day in our experience, but the people in the Wild Spirit deck are not quite like that. They are stepping out of fairy tale, folklore, of myth and legend. So I have our figure here. He's or she, I am ambiguous. I like to be ambiguous about my figures. He or she is ragged. They look like they've gone on a long journey. Their boots are old and worn out. They've come to this golden path. They've taken their boots off onto the new path that they're now treading. They're in the bare feet. Their clothes are a bit ragged, and also a little bit more, I was going to say a little bit more Glastonbury-ish then, a little bit more sort of hippie, no, a little bit more in keeping with the Wild Spirit, which is more magical, and they could be from any time period. There are patches on the raggedy clothes, a bit of a ragamuffin, but there's also a sense that this person is a pilgrim and has walked a long path and taken their boots off because they finally reached the end of it, which is the whole point of this. They're reaching their judgment moment, their point of transformation. We can say a lot more about this in the future, but that's the general reason why this figure now looks as they do. He or she, it's entirely up to you. And I like this little red and white spotted kind of handkerchief bag, which references the Fool in the deck and that kind of bundle that you'll be carrying on a long journey in a myth or a legend. So I included that so that will connect. And there's another connection that I have as well, and I really wanted to have this to hand, but I haven't. So in the Wheel of Fortune card of the Wild Spirit, the revamp I did to this, oh, I'm just going to try and find it, hang on. Rummage. Oh, good. Oh, the professionalism of this person is just so outstanding, is it not? Tra-la-la, talk about, oh yeah, here we go, this one here, it's in my folder so it's a bit reflective, but you've got the ribbon, you've got the web of fate that they're weaving, the strand the fates are weaving. I wanted to reference that. I want these cards to reference each other because they're an ongoing story, they're all interconnected, we know this about the tarot, so I want to keep picking up those threads, and literally I've picked up that red thread that goes through here. It weaves together the bouquet, the wreath of wildflowers around the edge, which is not present in the original. But the other elements are there. There is a tree on the hill, the moon and the sun are both in the sky at the same time. There is a golden glow around everything, pretty much the same as there was in the original, but there's much more, I think, much more of a sense here of a journey by a seeker, a pilgrim who is coming to a point of transformation. I think that is clearer in this one. I hope it is. Please give me your thoughts. Some of you are so kind. You come back with video after video giving me your feedback, and I love it. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. And if you haven't already done that, could you maybe comment on this one? I'd love to hear whether you think this is a more successful revamp or not. And as ever, I like to include members of our creature kin. In this case we have a bee. On the original there were no creatures, but here we've got a bee, we've got some blue butterflies, 1, 2 and 3, which are universally recognised as symbols of transformation, and as this card is going to be called Transformation, although it will also be called Judgement, if that makes sense. It will have the Wild Spirit title and the traditional tarot title, so it'll be Judgement. It might be Transformation, or it might be Awakening Spirit. I'm not sure, that's somewhere down the line, but the general gist is it's about transformation, isn't it? So although those butterflies are there in their own right, as all my creatures are always there in their own right, we can also read them on another level symbolically, that they are by their very nature transformative creatures, because that's what they do in their life cycle. So I am so happy with this one. It took me a long time, like everything I do. It took me a long time, but I think it's if I say so myself, I find this beautiful. And what would be the point of me doing something and I wasn't pleased with it? I have to be pleased with it. I have to feel like I've done the very best job I can for you. And I hope I have. If you can see anything that I could do to improve it, do let me know. I will never take it as an insult. I am sharing this with you. I'm sharing this journey with you because I absolutely value your feedback. It is precious and I will always respond to it, although I am very behind on it at the moment, mostly because shout out to the Hermit's Cave, marvellous Simon of the Hermit's Cave, who has introduced a lot of people to my channel through his he did an unboxing video of my original Wild Spirit, which I sent to him, and he did something called Throwback Thursday, which was about the Everyday Enchantment deck, and he's introduced a lot of people, and because he's done that, a lot more people have commented, and I am way behind on the comments now, but please believe me, I always get back to people, I always respond, because I absolutely can't tell you how much it means that you spend time to send me a comment, even if it's a line. And some people write quite a lot, and I feel obliged to write as much as I can. And I don't want to labour the point, but my physical being is not up to the task of lots of typing or drawing or writing or anything else really. So I'm very limited. I have to do it in bursts and then I have to lay off it for a bit. So I will always reply to you. If you're new to the channel because of, thankfully, thank you Simon, Hermit, lovely Hermit. If you're new, then I will always get back to you. It just takes me time, and I will do it no matter how long it takes. A bit like this person here, they have done it no matter how long this has taken, and it's obviously taken them quite a while because their poor boots are worn out. Talking of the Hermit's Cave, in honour of him and what he has done for me, which has been very much appreciated, his support of my work, I have decided that my next revamp of the Wild Spirit will be the Hermit card, which in this deck is called Healer, Wise Counsellor. Now it will be, when the Wild Spirit is revamped, it will be called the Hermit something, we don't know yet. It will have a Wild Spirit subtitle. I have also chosen this because it needs reworking. It will be reworked. There's lots of things that I'm not happy with, but the basic theme will remain exactly the same. But it's one of the ones that doesn't need quite so much doing to it. There are some that need quite a lot doing to it. Ditto this Wise Woman card, which is the High Priestess in the Wild Spirit. She doesn't need a terribly lot? No. She doesn't need she doesn't need a huge amount of reworking, so she will be something I will be able to revamp in the near future. But I thought I would do this in honour of the Hermit's Cave next. But before I do that, well, I'll be doing that while I'm not making a video. I shall be doing my next revamp. But my next video will be the long-awaited Sun, which was to counterbalance some of the more difficult things we've been talking about with the Death card and the Five of Cups. Although, just referring back to the Five of Cups, I did say, shall I do perhaps a follow-up video, because there was so much to say about that, and there was a lot to say about the Five of Cups that wasn't directly related to bereavement. I spent a lot of time talking about bereavement and grief, but the Five of Cups is of course about more than that, and a few of you have said that yes, another video on that might be good. So at some point I shall be doing that too. These are all things on my list to do, and they will be coming up as soon as I can, but that is my next Everyday Enchantment video, will be about the sun. And I found, hooray, a piece of music, a song that I wrote and recorded a while ago, quite a while ago, but it still sounds pretty okay, and it's very much sun related. Well, part of the lyrics, they step into the sun repeatedly, so I thought, because you've responded so kindly to my last upload of one of my songs, which was Lost in Loss, I thought that I would upload my song to go with the sun as well. So that will be coming up next. So there'll be the sun video and there'll be the sun song coming up next, while I'm in the background doing my next Wild Spirit revamp. Also, before I close today, here we go. Right, this is a bit different. I also make things, and I just wanted to show you this before I actually wrapped it up. This is a gift. I hope you can see what it is. This is a piece of backing that I made to mount the necklace. This is a necklace made of vintage beads and charms. They're all from 1950s Japan. Well, the vast majority, at least 90% of them, are from 1950s Japan. They were sourced from America. They're one-off things. You can't buy any of this in a shop. It says literally not on the high street. I make these things for myself. I make them for anybody, my friends, anybody that wants one. This is for a friend's daughter for her birthday. I hope she likes it and doesn't think that it's too babyish, because she might be the sort of person that thinks that I'm trying to give her something too childish. I hope not, because I would wear this. I don't know whether you would. There you go. Yes, so this is something that I do. Now, I would really like to share some of these things with you that I make, because I can't show you a lot of artwork and things, because as I've explained before, I'm not living with all my things. They've been in storage for a long time for reasons I won't go into. If you've watched other videos, you'll pick up the gist of what's been happening to me, but I am not with my things. We will be reunited, I hope, next year. It'd be nice if it was this year, but I very much doubt it. But I'm limited to what I can show you, because I haven't got all my paintings, I haven't got all my craft things with me. I've got a very limited amount of things, but I have got things I can show you, and I've got a lot of these jewellery. I've got all sorts of necklaces, and I thought it might be nice to just do a video with maybe some music, just showing you some of these. I also make cushions. I make oh, I can't really explain it. I make yarn out of I go around charity shops and things collecting yarn until I've got enough that goes together. Then I make one great big enormous ball of yarn, and then I make cushions out of them with vintage buttons and recycled buttons, and everything's recycled. None of it is bought. I mean, it's all secondhand. It is bought, but it's if you're in America, it would be thrifted, whatever. It's all pre-loved stuff that I reinvent into something, and it all reflects the colours of the wild land. And I'd like to be able to show you that too. If I was prepared, I would have had some of my ball of yarn here that I could go, and here it is, but I haven't. It's right over yonder, so we can't look at it now. But would that be of any interest to you? Is this of any interest to you? Would you like to see some more of these? I'd really like to share them with you, because they do share the ethos of the wild spirit, and they have an everyday enchantment about them. I don't think I'm being too tenuous there, am I? They're just things that I do that express that need to recycle and recreate, rather than going out and buying mass-produced things. They're all made, obviously, with a lot of love and care, and I'd like to share them with you, so let me know. I'm going to wrap that one up in a bit and just hope she likes it. I might let you know if she does, or maybe she'll never let me know if she does. She's probably far too polite to tell me. Oops, sorry. Right, so before I finish, because I'm nearly on 20 minutes and I meant to be quick, I'm just going to let you have a good look at this from top to bottom. The Wild Spirit Revamp of Judgement or Transformation or the Awakening Spirit. Oops. Let's try and go up here. I wish I could get the whole thing in. It's really hard for me to get the whole card in. And of course the thumbnail never really does it. I keep saying that I'm going to have an Instagram account, but it's just been so difficult for me to do all this and keep up with it. I wish I was more able to do it, and I will do it. There will be an Instagram thingy so that you can have a look, and of course there will be a website at some point, but that's not going to be for a long time yet, because my life is rather unsettled and there are things that I need to sort out practically in my everyday living before I can start building websites and so forth. So that would be a nice way anyway, the Instagram thing, maybe, so you could have a proper look at these. But I know nothing about Instagram and I haven't got the ability to sit there for ages working it out, so I hope it's simple. But I'll let you know when and if that happens. I will let you know. Just before I go, I'll just show you. That's what it looked like, and that's what it looks like now, but we don't know where the title of the Wild Spirit cards are going to go. Oh no. I'd quite like to do like a, I don't know, like a scrolly thing. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, I can deal with the artwork, but I'm not terribly practical about thinking about these things. I should have considered that before I started. I considered the borders, but I didn't consider the title. Unless this is the first deck without a title, but no, I think not. Anyway, let's see if we can get close. Let me know what you think, and I will be back soon with more videos, the sun and the sun music and all sorts of things. I have plenty lined up. And what would you think about perhaps this I don't want to sound like I'm of any interest in terms of me, but how, because you know, I'm not promoting me, I'm promoting my work and ideas and things that I come across and sharing with you. I'm not putting myself as an authority or something special or anything else. You know that's not what I'm doing here. But the idea of a question and answer thing might be of some interest to you, not because I'm a fascinating person, not because I want to tell you my personal details or promote myself, just because there are things you might want to ask. If you have got any questions, if you put them in the comments, I can start compiling them, and if anyone's interested enough, then perhaps we'll have enough questions one day to make a little video of things you've asked me. And again, don't forget to tell me, if you do comment, don't forget to tell me where you're from, because I really love hearing about where in the world you are. That's a wonderful thing for me, to feel like I've connected with you. Whether you're in Sweden or Japan or Missouri or wherever you are, I want to know. It'd be lovely. Thank you. And I appreciate everything you do in terms of responding to these videos. But I'm going now because I have gone on way too long. Thank you for bearing with me. Join me again soon. Loads of love, and please take care of yourselves and all other beings you encounter, because you're very important to me. Okay, lots of love. Take care. Bye.